Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Chubby Retro's channel. Today we are going to be looking at one of my older magazines. This is from March of '96. This is issue number 80 of EGM. For some reason, this one's not in great shape. I don't know what happened, but it's still complete. So let's take a look at it. As you can tell, it's funny because it shows here your guide and it has all the systems that it's covering, and it says Ultra 64. Obviously, the name for the Ultra 64 has not yet changed to Nintendo 64, so that's what it says there. On the cover is Tekken 2. It says it's a fighting game special, so it has Killer Instinct 2. Plus, it has some VR Golf, Magic Carpet, Maui Mallard. And so let's take a look. It's one of the thinner ones, once again from back in those days. From 93 to 96, they started getting thin again. So let's take a look. So inside we have an ad for D, which was a game for the PlayStation, Saturn, and PC. Once again, I'm not gonna kind of pull this one too tight, just because I don't want it to come unglued. It's already not in the best condition for some reason. So Fox Hunt for PlayStation and Saturn. Now I remember that there was a lot of these, like what do they call them, FMV games with full motion video, and like Mad Dog McCree was one of them. There was another one, Night Crawler or Night something, and that was a game that was also this video. I never played any of these. I never got into it. I didn't have a CD-based system. So an article on expensive gaming. It's probably just talking about the upfront costs. Then there is a ad here for the Acclaim game Rise to Resurrection. Probably, it looks like it's an early Saturn PlayStation game, obviously based on the time period. And I mean, it looks, I don't know if it sold much. It looks kind of weird. Anyway, so back to Game 7, the clock's ticking down, the no-look pass, the skyhook. So it's Slam and Jam 96 featuring Magic and Kareem. You got Magic Johnson there, sans the Lakers logo. Then you have an article here for Killer Instinct 2. The long-awaited sequel hits the arcades with new moves. I used to like to play as him. Glacius, I believe is his name. Anyways, so here we have some of the content, some of the articles, the systems that are being looked at here: Genesis, Saturn, PlayStation 3DO, and Neo Geo. EGM travels to the desert to find gaming gold at CES. CES used to, well, it's still around, but it had a lot of video games. It's in Las Vegas, Consumer Electronics Show. And I guess that was like the go-to prior to, E3 I think was around, but it was a much smaller show. CES was a lot of gaming, and then they kind of stopped doing gaming stuff other than accessories, and E3 took over, and now E3 is not even what it used to be. Descent here for PlayStation. As you can see, it's the old PlayStation box, the long ones. And companies take aim at gamers with new gadgets. So talking about some of the new controllers and peripherals and accessories that were coming out. This controller always was curious to me. I never used it, I never played with it, but the fact that you would twist to steer was interesting. And then SNK brings out the Neo Geo or Neo CDX. So a Neo Geo CD based system. Never played any Neo Geo systems. Once again, talking about the 4-player adapters for the PlayStation, the arcade sticks, and Gold Star drops to 3DO. So different companies would manufacture 3DO systems and then just release it under their name. And I guess it was just like a licensing, and it would be compatible with any 3DO games. Can PC games rescue Atari? So they're talking about bringing some of the PC games over to Atari. PlayStation games unite on new demo. Yeah, they used to have demo discs that you would get either in magazines, or even I think a couple times they would hand them out like at the Funko Land or EB Games, and yeah, it had just samples of games that were coming out. Well, they were cool to collect. Clearasil ad. Okay, so this is a sensor technology paves way for hands-free play. Obviously that didn't take off. 3D display may revolutionize arcades. And then we have an ad here for the 3DO Panasonic game. What game is it? ISIS. Hardball 5 baseball on PlayStation and PC. Two-page ad here. It's amazing how far we've come. I mean, even this doesn't look that bad, but once you actually really look at the, you zoom in, I mean, it's just like pre-rendered sprites on a baseball field. But hey, that was the time, and it was very, very, very cool. A 2-page ad for Donkey Kong Country 2. Now, a lot of people prefer Donkey Kong Country 2 over Donkey Kong Country, and it is a good game, but I always go back to Donkey Kong Country. To me, it's I don't know, the nostalgia, it's classic. I mean, I know this game came out like a year after that one, and it's fun and it's great, but I always prefer to go and play Donkey Kong Country. So we have the reviews kind of early in the magazine on this one here. So let's see, just really quick. Neo Geo Real Bout, which was the game of the month, I believe. It got a gold. Pocahontas for Disney. Low-key, a lot of Disney games are good. A lot of Disney games are good. I mean, I think back to Aladdin for Super Nintendo, Lion King for Super Nintendo, Toy Story for Super Nintendo. I even found out later on that there was a Jungle Book game, and I actually bought that on, there's a compilation cartridge for Switch that has, I believe, Aladdin, Lion King, and Jungle Book. And then there was a Pinocchio game that was good. So low-key, back in the 16-bit era, the Disney games were entertaining. Saturn Darius Gaiden, Saturn Mortal Kombat 2, PlayStation Zero Divide. I mean, decent ratings. PlayStation A-Train, PlayStation Descent, PlayStation Starfighter. An ad for Romance of the Three Kingdoms, which was, I think, an RPG type of game. And then you have College Slam, which was a take on NBA Jam, but with colleges. Never played it. I'm sure it played exactly like NBA Jam. So gaming gossip here. Atari leaves video games, Killer Instinct special info. Sony to deliver a portable. Ultra 64 targets the net. New info on Ultra 64 Drive, Street Fighter 3 on M2. And then they had these tear-outs that were moves and for Fatal Fury, Real Bout. It's kind of a thicker paper. Thunderstrike for PlayStation and Saturn. And then we have Street Fighter Alpha for PlayStation and Saturn. I remember when I got my Super Nintendo, we had our Super Nintendo, we didn't get a PlayStation, we didn't get a Saturn. I don't know why we didn't ask for it, we weren't interested in it. But I do remember looking at this magazine and it was always like, oh man, all the good games are coming out for PlayStation, for Saturn. Why they forget about the Super Nintendo? And then N64 came out, and I felt like, okay, now we're gonna start getting the good stuff, and it just never caught up. Nintendo 64 had some really good games, but yeah, it just wasn't the same. Earthworm Jim 2, so some cheats here. Loaded, Zero Divide, and then an ad for Assault Rigs. Doom Troopers, Ultimate Mortal Kombat at the arcade, some tricks, and then Iron Storm for Saturn. Earthworm Jim 2, Raiden Project. And feel free to pause and screenshot this stuff so you can see your your cheats if you ever go back to play Sega Rally Championship or the Raiden Project. PlayStation Silverload ad. Some more Destruction Derby, Toshinden 2. And what is this here? Crazy Ivan. He's the next Russian Revolution. Oh, was it like a shooting game? Fear has a new face. Coming soon, Resident Evil. This is the guy that he's eating the other corpse and then he turns around and looks at you. So here's an ad. EGM visits the winter CES in Las Vegas. So I guess they used to do it in the winter. I think now it's in the summer. But so as you can see, they got previews of Bubsy 3D, Star Control. So they were showing off a lot of games at CES back in the day. Okay, so there's Maui Mallard. Probably a good game. Like I said, it's a Disney game, and then Toy Story, that ended up being a good game. Power Rangers, Hellraiser, Planet of the Apes, and Independence Day. Independence Day looks like it's based on the upcoming movie. Okay, so that's just screenshots of the movie. I don't think that's like screenshots from the game. That looks like it's just screenshots of the movie. Alone in the Dark. I remember we had this for our Mac, Alone in the Dark 1. And I remember the graphics were so blocky. But it was scary. I mean, it was clunky the way he would move around the mansion and stuff. But it was a precursor to Resident Evil. And it was scary. Orion Burger, Metalworks Director's Cut, and then a ad here for Johnny Bazooka Tone. Looks like a cross between a Elvis and a Pixar character. Resident Evil, the developers spill their guts. I mean, this game was revolutionary. It was a revolutionary game. I didn't like the camera. I never liked the camera, but I mean, you can't doubt it was good. PlayStation here, ad for, let's see, what game is this? Am I missing something? I don't see the title of the game. It's a mystery game. And then the cover story of Tekken 2. One of the most anticipated games coming out for the PlayStation. Yeah, no, PlayStation was getting all the good stuff back in the day. All the good stuff. Now we have some retail ads here that I would look at. I would see prices. I could buy an Ultra 64 system for $269. Killer Instinct 2 hits arcades with a vengeance. And here's all the moves. So if anybody wants moves, go ahead and screenshot it. Aren't you glad you stood and watched up to the 13-minute point? Maui Mallard. Get down with Maui. I'm assuming it's a Genesis game. I don't know why it gives me Genesis vibes. But once again, I mean, being a Disney game, I wouldn't be surprised if it was really good. Yeah, releases for the Genesis. Pocahontas, I've never heard about this one. This one looks like it's probably a Genesis. Yeah, it is Genesis. That may be low-key good too. An ad for Rebel Assault 2 here on the, uh-oh, gotta be careful, it's gonna open up there. Mortal Kombat 2 on the Saturn. Darius Gaiden, like a shooter. D is to Die For. Battle Arena Toshinden 2, The Battle of a Lifetime. Descent. Zero Divide. Oh, here's that Crazy Ivan game. So it looks like it's a like FMV shooter type of thing for PlayStation. A-Train, if you build it, they will ride. So kind of like a SimCity type game. Casper, the Friendliest Ghost I Know. For 3DO. Fatal Fury Wheel Belt for Neo Geo. Magic Carpet, and then some subscription cards. Earthworm Jim 2, Dungeons and Dragons. Now I know these videos end up being really long, like some like 15, 20, 30 minutes long. And so I don't know if and I noticed I've checked the stats and only, you know, people only watch up to like 3 minutes and then they bail. And so I don't know. I mean, should I continue, you know, going through slowly and making these videos, you know, 12, 15, 20 minutes long? Or do you guys think I should just kind of just change pages back and forth, try to make it as quick as possible just to kind of get a peek at it, and then maybe it'll end up being like 5 minutes? I wonder if you guys think that's better. If anybody's gotten to this point, you know, leave a comment. Let me know, what do you guys think? Is it better to just continue the way I've been doing it, or do you think it's better if I just shut up and, you know, change the pages and get it down to 5 minutes or so? Let me know what you guys think. So a golf game here. So these are upcoming games for the Saturn. And then there's a ad here for a NBA Zone contest. Bottom of the ninth baseball. It's like a Saturn game. Criticon. VR Golf 96. Zero Divide. And then some last minute scores. So we have Goldstorm, Hang On GP95, Road Rash, and Atari Karts. Coming soon, Wing Commander 3. And then they have the letters of the month actually at the end of this magazine versus in the beginning. So give up on this PlayStation versus Saturn debate. What are the next gen RPGs? Madden 96 and 97. I want FMV. I don't think a lot of people liked FMV. You have the EGM artwork here, the letter art. Some ads. More ads. Some Interact accessories. And then the back cover was Breath of Fire 2 for Super Nintendo. So that's issue number 80 of EGM, March 1996. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate any feedback. Leave a comment, subscribe, ring the notification bell so you can get notified whenever I drop a new video. Thank you so much, and we'll get you in the next one.